Alright, Panther fans, how we doing? So, day 3 of camp is today. I haven't seen a whole lot of the updates. I saw a few things in the beginning, but I don't want to bombard you with like every day what's going on. So I think Stu and I will do something tomorrow and touch on whatever goes on today. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out flyingfluffy.com. Lots of good content over there. Now, subject of today's video. There are some days where I feel like making videos in the sports world really isn't much different than if I was making videos in the political realm. And what I mean by that is I've been saying that the Panthers are going to win the Cup, and people call me crazy. And then I say, but I think we're going to start slow. And then people call me crazy. It's like, what do you want? So, what I've done for the subject of this video is I've laid out what I think the Panthers' record every 20 games is going to be. So the first 20, second, third, and then obviously the last will be 22 games. I'm going to lay out what I think the record's going to be, obviously how many points, and then we'll finish it up. Now, I'll say the same thing I've been saying about why I think we're going to win the Cup, why I think we're going to start slow. It's just my gut feeling, all right? This is my 7th season doing these videos. If you've been watching this channel long enough and you want to go against what my gut feeling is, more power to you. Now, that being said, here's what I got. So for the first 20 games, this is my version of a slow start because this is nowhere near as good as we were last season, all right? 11, 7, and 2. Okay? 11, 7, and 2 for 24 points. I'm checking my math as I'm doing this, all right? Now, the second 20 games, we're going to be a little bit better. 13, 5, and 2 for another 28 points, all right? Not fantastic, not so great. So let me pause here for a second. Now, what's going to happen after those first 20 is we're going to get rid of all the naysayers, all of you on the edge that don't believe in this team. You're going to expose yourself in those first 20 games. We're going to know who you are. We're going to keep the receipts. There's going to be a ton of people saying, oh, Calgary won the trade. Everybody who's going to want to be negative is going to come out in those first 20 games. New coach, new system, all the lines are new. All the pairings are new. Everything is new with the exception of the goaltender. It's going to be a little bit of a work in progress. There's enough talent on this team to carry them to still be on a 90 to 100 point pace when they're playing their worst hockey those first 20 games. That's my take. That's what I feel is going to happen. We'll move on now. So, alright, so we get to the third segment of the season. Now we're improving, like I said. Alright, I think we're going to be better every month. So for the third 20 games, we got 14, 5, and 1 for another 29 points. And then in the final 22 games, I've got us going 16, 4, and 2 for 34 points, which leaves us with a record of 54, 21, and 7, and 115 points. Not quite as good as last year, okay? And I still strongly believe that Toronto's going to be this year's Panthers. I believe that they're going to outscore their problems. I know their goaltending is suspect. Before last season, our goaltending here in Pantherland wasn't exactly spectacular. Bob's first 2 years here wasn't good. Go look at the numbers, especially year 2. We didn't really have any reason, other than his past history, to think that Bobrovsky was going to come out and play as well as he did last year, especially in the playoff. Bob proved a lot of people wrong. I'm not saying that Toronto Maple Leafs goaltending is going to be elite. I think they are going to do exactly what the Panthers did last season, which is outscore all their problems, make everybody think they're going to win a cup, finally win a round, and then get blown out in the second round. Just what I think. Now, in terms of the Panthers, 115 points, that's going to be good for second or third place. All I care about is getting in and playing the right style that Maurice is preaching to these kids, and that's the last thing. Okay, when a lot of these guys, Barkov, Verhaeghe, okay, Lundell, so who else? Luosterainen, okay, those are players that really haven't played a physical, strong, hard checking style. And I don't think you're going to really switch you're not going to switch Barkov's style too much. But they're doing a lot of board work. They're doing a lot of work in the corners in practice. That is what Maurice is going to preach. That's a little bit concerning on my end because our depth is not great in the depth department. So you may see guys like Verhaeghe and Barkov miss a couple of games here or there with bumps and bruises, or before they might not have missed. 115 points is nothing to sneeze at. They're going to get better as the season goes on. Now, I know that there are differing opinions. Some other people look at the teams that we're going to play and think, okay, these are the games that we should win, and this is how it's going to go. I'm not going to do that because in sports, when you start looking at who you should beat based on last season, it's usually a losing formula with rare exceptions. And we all know the top 3 teams in the division are Toronto, Tampa, and Florida. Where's Boston going to slide in? Is Ottawa going to be good enough to make a run? That all remains to be seen. But it's pointless, guys, to argue about whether it's going to be 122 points, 115, or 107. The difference between 122 points and 107 points is 8 points. Okay? Right? Is my math? No, that's not right. It's 15 points. 8 games. 8 games, okay? A goal here, a goal there, plus or minus. It's really not as big of a difference as anybody would make it out to be. I think we're going to end up somewhere in the middle. I think we're definitely going to be more than 100 points. Earlier on in the offseason, certainly before Kachuk, I thought we were going to just be bordering around the 100, 104 point thing. But I like the direction of what we're seeing. I like what's going on. And I think we're going to have not as good of a season as last year, but we're going to win the Cup. And this is the last time I'm going to say it, okay? This is the last time I'm going to say it. If anybody has a question about why I think we're going to win the Cup, I'm going to point you to this timestamp on this video. It's about the 10th time I've said it. This is my gut feeling. Every time I've gotten a gut feeling about what I think is going to happen, whether it be something big or whether I come on here and during the second intermission and say, I wish Barkov would get a goal, and he immediately scores to start the third period. And stuff doesn't happen by accident. All right? I'm usually pretty good with this stuff. Am I guaranteeing we're going to win a Cup? No, I'm not going to guarantee it. But I'm also not going to argue with people in the terms of what exactly I think is going to happen because of this player and this guy's Corsi and this guy's analytics and this guy's size. And I'm not going to do that. That's what I think is going to happen. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't, damn shame, because I think this is the right team to do it. I think we've got the right mixture of elite players with harder-nosed players that are going to be hungry to make a difference, with the coach who's going to take everything he's learned and knows which mistakes to avoid, with the right goaltending situation, with Bobrovsky wanting to keep Spencer Knight from taking his job. I think it's all going to come together at the right time, including the experience of having lost in the playoffs / play-ins 3 years in a row. And I think this is the year that the Cats get it done. And that's the last time I'm going to explain it. Is what it is. 115 points and we win the Cup. Appreciate all the support. Stu and I will see you again tomorrow.